Welcome, friends. Today we are going to make something that is the meeting point of two things that I really enjoy, and that's chocolate chips and potato chips. This past Christmas and over the last little while, I saw a lot of people making this type of cookie, and I thought, wow, that's ingenious. I really love that. Let's give it a try. See if we can make it ourselves. So into the stand mixer, I put some butter, and we're just going to cream that until it's nice and fluffy. Now once the butter is nice and soft, we'll put in some white sugar and some brown sugar, and we'll just keep continuing to cream that. While that's creaming together, just take a moment and prep your flour. So I have flour, and this is baking soda. And you just want to mix those two together. You'll also notice that I'm not going to put any salt in. Normally in a cookie like this, you'd put salt in because that just sort of regulates the flavor, balances it out. But we're putting in the potato chips. And don't get the low salt potato chips, get the regular salty, greasy potato chips. And they're going to bring loads of salt to these cookies. One of the tricks I found is don't open the chips too early, because if you're like me, you'll snack on them and there won't be enough to actually make the cookies. So you need about 200 grams of chips, and you want to crush them. Not crushed to dust, but crushed down to about the same as the chocolate chips that you're going to put in. Okay, this is good. We're going to put in a little bit of vanilla. Maybe just a little bit more. And the first of 2 eggs. And we'll beat that egg in before we put the second one in. Okay, so far, pretty straightforward, regular chocolate chip cookie recipe. This is creamed together really nicely, and I'm just going to slowly spoon in the flour. A lot of people are going to tell you that you have to do this with a wooden spoon because you don't want to make gluten, blah, 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 blah. Spooning it in like this is not a problem, as long as the mixer's on low enough so that you don't spray flour everywhere, which is something I often do. You're going to be just fine. Just don't overmix. As soon as you put the last scoop in, mix it in just until it's mixed, and then turn the mixer off. Of course, an important step along the way is to scrape down the bowl. Sometimes a little bit will get stuck up at the top or at the very bottom, and you just want to make sure that you've got everything incorporated evenly. Okay, so we are down to the point where we're going to put in the chips and the chocolate chips. And you could do this with a rubber spatula, or probably better to use a wooden spoon. I'm just going to give it a scrape with a spatula first. And I'm going to put the chocolate chips in first. This way we don't crush the potato chips too much before we put them in the oven. And I will switch to a wooden spoon at this point because the dough is pretty stiff. So the last of the chocolate chips. And in go the potato chips. So I'm using a number 50 ice cream scoop today to portion out these cookies. I think the 50 is just a touch too small, and I can't find my number 40. It's lost in the equipment room somewhere. I think number 40, for me anyway, 40 is the size that I really like. So I'm just going to portion these out. I don't do anything special with the cookie tray or the baking tray. A lot of people like to put down nonstick spray or parchment paper. I never do. I don't know. I never have a problem with them sticking, and I never have a problem cleaning the trays later. So I just leave them bare. And once I get them portioned out, To me, I think a really nice little touch is a sprinkle of sea salt on top, just to give that little extra salty explosion of salty, sweet when you eat them. Now into the oven. Okay, so moment of truth. Now on the surface, they look really good. Nice spread, still a bit of a dome top. They look super crispy around the edge, but still chewy in the center. I really like that. I'm pretty impressed with these cookies. It's interesting, you don't taste the potato chip. I can still see little pieces of potato chip in there. And they're adding something, but they're not adding a flavor. They're kind of adding a bit of a texture, and it almost feels like they're lifting all of the other flavors. Really interesting addition. A little bit of salt on top really adds to it as well. So, if you like chocolate chip cookies and you like potato chips, I think you should give these a try. I'm really going to enjoy these. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.